life gets you down, feel the pain all around. Keep the love in your heart and hold your head high.
Welcome to the Let That Go show with Kassira McKee and Richard Skipper. This show is based on Kassira's book, Let That Go, where she guides people in completely blessing and releasing people, places, and all kinds of things. Kassira and Richard share personal insights and experiences based on concepts in Kassira's book, with guests and you, their co-hosts. Are you ready to let that go? Let's go.
Look what I've got.
Oh, yes, I know about that.
It arrived yesterday. Do you want to tell everybody what it's all about?
Well, yes, because you said you were a crow, and I said, well, you were a white crow. And I told our friend Dougie that, and that's what he found for you.
And it arrived yesterday.
A white crow lamp. It lights up, everybody, just so you know. You plug it in, and it has a little bulb on it, and it lights up, yeah.
It's great. It's wonderful. Hello, Kassira. How are you tonight?
Good. I'm so much better than I was, health-wise.
Good.
Coming out of that. I had a respiratory, viral infection. And I don't take a lot of medications yet. I had to start a new antibiotic to zap it, and it's working. And I'm so grateful. So grateful. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad, and so many of our friends are here with us tonight. Thank you all for being here. To use one of your words, juicy topic tonight.
Juicy topic. Well, the reason we picked this topic is you and I had a conversation about some people out there that we shall not name who were talking crap about you. And then as we talked, I was like, okay, we need to do a show about this. We need to show people, we need to bring it out in the open and talk about people backstabbing each other. It happens a lot in the entertainment industry. And you'd think that people in the entertainment industry would support each other, right? And love on each other and wish you goodwill. And what I've experienced and what you're experiencing even now it's the complete opposite. You want to tell your story? Because I think it's
there's so many.
Without mentioning names.
But one of our guests, one of our viewers that's here tonight, and don't worry, I'm not outing anybody tonight. But this person, I'm not going to say whether it's male or female, but one of our loyal viewers wrote to me privately about an episode in which someone said that they no longer wanted a particular position, and they told other people this, when indeed this person did want that position, and they lost a lucrative job because someone was out to get them. And there have been so many times that, and some of them, I don't want to really bring attention to some of them because it will basically shed light on them, the situation, and some people will be able to figure it out. But in this business, there have been so many times where, years ago, I was working on I don't think the person's watching, and if they do watch, they should know how it affected me. I was putting together a huge event celebrating Carol Channing and someone else who wanted to do another event in New York at the same time. We spoke about joining forces to do this event. And before I knew it, it was written about in the newspaper. This person was taking credit for ideas that I had presented to them in a private conversation. It was not ready to go to press. And as a result of it going into press, it blew up in major way. I am also a big proponent not to talk about things that are upcoming in my professional life or even in my personal life until everything's signed on the dotted line and I'm ready to move forward, because I don't want anything to be misconstrued or to be put out there. And it's interesting, that but I will tell you, and I've talked about this before, I don't know if it. I first of all, I have to tell you, I don't have a grasp of jealousy. I really don't. I don't have a
I,
grasp.
can I say something about that?
Yes.
So the lay leader of the Buddhism that I practice, Nichiren Buddhism, the lay leader is Daisaku Ikeda. He's in Japan. He and his wife have a very modern marriage. It's not one of those oldie timey things where he's the boss and she can't do anything. You know what I mean? It's none of that. They're like a really modern couple. He wrote, and I read it, and I remember him saying it in a Buddhist meeting years ago. His name was Daisaku Ikeda.
Mm.
And he said, those that are jealous of others have no vision of their own future.
Interesting.
Think
Wow.
about that for a minute. I think the backstabbing comes from jealousy. I think that's the root of it, is being envious and not being happy for another individual and trying to throw a log over the journey you're traveling on your road. You know what I mean?
Yes. And Alan, thank you. I mean, it was Alan that I was telling you the story about. And he just said it's okay to divulge. Thank you. I forgot to mention it had a happy ending despite the temporary uncertainty.
Yeah.
Backstabbing might have become a pariah and persona non grata.
Yeah.
Thank you for owning it and putting it out there. And thank you for sharing
Mhm.
that with me.
Thank you,
Uh,
Alan. Yeah.
but I people have said to me over the course of my career in this business
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
certain people are jealous. Um,
Sure.
I I have been kept out of certain positions, certain jobs, certain
Mhm.
things. I can't dwell on it.
Right.
I refuse to dwell on it. Actually, I should say rather than can't, because I feel that by dwelling on it, it empowers those moments, and it's just time to move on.
I'm with you. I had when I was in Dallas, I grew up there kind of. I did a lot of theater and performed there and in clubs and in theater and so forth. Um I used to host nights of divas and divos at a certain
Mm.
club. I was the host of it. I put it together with my dear, dear, dear friend Michael Bogle, amazing musical director. He's amazing. He's been nominated for Grammys. He's a jazz king, and amazing. Um, Another woman in Dallas in theater put together a night of divas and did not invite me. And I'm the one that started this thing.
Hmm.
And I heard a few things that were said about me or whatever. And it's true. I think there are people out there that cannot, what's the word? Ingratiate other people of any type. I don't
Hmm.
care if you're an artist. I don't care if you work for a corporation. What if you work in the corporate world or you work in, whatever. There are people out there that want to hold other people down and they don't want to include them because we're good. Because we're good. And we might outshine someone else. And that's how you know. That's how you know, oh, this person is afraid I'm going to outshine them and they're not going to include me. Okay. I have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful friend who I really wanted you to interview. My dear friend Sandra K in Dallas. She is a jazz
I
legend.
still
She's
want
won
to interview
awards.
her.
Yeah, she's won awards. She's amazing. You wouldn't believe how many people backstab this woman. And I hear about it all the time. I'm like, what is wrong with him? She goes, I don't know. I don't know. you know,
Well,
and and it's so sad that people have to lower themselves to do that to other people. And
you know,
word travels and we find out, oh, that really wasn't true, was it? No. Yeah.
I've read that when Judy Garland did A Star Is Born, and that performance to me is one of the most brilliant performances
Of
ever on
course it
film.
is.
And I
It's a
truly,
legendary performance. No matter who replay, who covers it or redoes it.
right.
Yeah, you're right. You're
But I
right.
believe that Judy Garland should have received the Oscar that year. And that's not to take
Oh,
away from Grace Kelly,
yeah.
because I love Grace Kelly as well. But I
Yes.
read that because Judy allegedly had cost MGM, let's not even talk about the money that she made for the studio, but
Mhm.
I had heard that she had lost so much money for the studio that there were basically petitions behind the scenes for people to vote against her or to not vote for her. And this was after 4 years of not being in
Mhm.
film, 4 years after leaving MGM, and coming and trying to make a comeback. And
Mhm.
the aftermath of what happened on that film crushed Judy so much that she did not make another film until 1961. That was
Do you blame her?
1964. Well,
Yeah.
it's difficult.
Yeah.
And but
Exactly.
it's interesting because years ago I had a friend that I met in San Francisco, and she wanted to come to New York, and I said, I don't live in the city. I live 25 minutes north of Manhattan,
Mhm.
but we don't have a guest room in our house. But I have a sofa, and you're welcome to have
Yeah,
it.
I don't do sofas, but I love you. I love
Yes,
you, but I don't do
you're
sofas.
welcome
It's
to
okay.
stay here,
Of course
um,
I am.
while you're trying to
I'll go
find.
stay at Marianne Ginchard's in New Jersey. She's got a mansion. It's
Oh
okay.
wow! But I was saying to her, you're welcome to stay here while you're trying to get on your feet. So she
Mhm.
was out one night with this guy who had produced me in San Francisco. They went to a club, and they were sitting at the
Mhm.
bar, and somebody in the industry who knows me was interested in my friend who produced me.
Huh.
So there was some flirting going on at the table. And then he
Uh-huh.
came and sat down next to them, and she said, "Well, what do you do?" And he said, "I write and cover cabaret." She said, "Well, then you must know my friend Richard Skipper." And
Uh-huh.
he said, "Yes, he's somebody you want to avoid. He will stab you in the back."
Oh.
And she said, "I don't think we're talking about the same person." Um,
Mhm.
he said, "Yes, the guy who performs as Carol Channing." And she said, "Well, I'm staying at his house." And I mean, she told me this when she came home that night. She says, "I'm staying at his house."
Mhm.
And and my friend that was with her said, "I produced him in San Francisco. I never had a problem with him."
Uh-huh.
And he said, "Well, watch your backs." And I guess he was embarrassed knowing that these two people were so intricately involved in my life that he left, slithered away. So when she told me this, I called him the next day and I said, "I'm calling to apologize to you." And he said, "What do you mean you're calling to apologize to me?" And I said, "Well, obviously, I've said or done something to you in some way that has hurt you to the point that you would tell two people that you barely know that I would stab them in the back."
Mhm.
And he said, "I can't believe they told you this." I said, "Did you say it? Or are they making it up?" And
Mhm.
he says, "No, I said it." And I said, "Where is it coming from?" And he said, "Based on a feeling I have." And I said, "Well," I said, "the good news is that two friends came and told me that you said this. What if it had been someone else that didn't know me,
Mhm.
and they had gone to somebody else and told somebody else that I was this person, and then somebody else and somebody else, and then I have this reputation that I do not deserve?" I said, "The good news
It's
is they told me, but you could cost me jobs. You could
yeah,
cost me."
it's a domino effect.
Exactly.
It's a domino effect. It's hateful. And what's the point? What I mean, that's my point about they're jealous. They're envious. I'm listen, happy people want other people to be happy. Just so you know. Did you hear that,
Absolutely.
guys? Pam, Alan, Natasha, Cherie, all of yous. Did you hear what I just said? Happy people are happy for other people. when we get this backstabbing domino effect going, that begins with a really unhappy person. You got to be really unhappy with yourself and your life to go there. Yes, Alan, boomerang. Yes,
Boomerang,
boomerang and
boomerang.
dominoes.
Yes.
Yeah, the boomerang effect. The boomerang effect. I write about it in the book, and it really it is so hateful to do that to other people. It just reverberates out, and I don't understand why people believe what other people say all the time. Why? Why would you do that without investigation, without a phone call? You know, without
But I will say this, Sarah. There have been people, and I'm sure with you as well, there have been people who have deliberately tried to sabotage or hurt me in this business.
I know.
And but if their name is brought up on my platform,
Yes.
I go, oh my God, they're wonderful or something. Because I am not going to perpetrate those images of these people. I don't need to tell other people about those people that have hurt me. I don't mention their names. I don't give them that kind of power. I mean, right now, Kevin McCarthy, I will mention his name. And again, I don't care what side anyone is on politically, folks. Let's just all get along. That's all I say. But he took 3 people off of their committee duties because of jealousy, hurt, feelings, whatever they are, to forward his agenda. And many people, were very much doing that.
So someone has asked a question, Alan, what's a Jewish term for being happy for someone else's success?
I don't know what is it.
Well, I'm looking at it. I'm looking it up.
Okay. I'm sure that somebody's going to tell us. Francis?
Well, I grew up with Jews, so you think I'd know this.
I don't know what the Jewish term is.
Oh, here it is. Fruit and food. Fruit and food. Should I type it? Let's see if I can type it. No. Okay, so F-R-E-U-D-E-N.
What is it? Spell it again.
F-R-E-U-D-E-N. F-R-E-U-D-E.
F-R.
Taking joy in someone else's successes. Fruit and food. Fruit and food.
I don't know if I've.
That's what it's called. Yeah, in Jewish.
Oh, I got it.
Fruit and food. Or shade and food. Yeah, a pleasure in another person's good fortune. Schadenfreude. S-C-H-A. Are you guys writing it down? S-C-H-A-D-E-N. Freud. F-R-E-U-D-E. Schadenfreude. God, I love Yiddish. Okay.
Me too.
Yeah. There you go. Fruit and fruit or Schadenfreude. There you go, Alan. Yeah, there's the word. There's 2 words. Yeah. So when it comes to this subject, if people really don't listen, people know when they're being evil. They know when they're doing it. We're not stupid. We know. We know when we're being thrown shade. We know when we're throwing shade. We know when we're digging a gutter for somebody else. And to bury them, it's to bury other people. Why would we want to do that to another person? Why would we want to do that? Why would anybody want to? I've experienced it in the medical field where I am right now. I've got 2 people that really want to bury me. And you know what? I've just shut it out. I've just said, okay, I'm letting go of that. And I'm not playing that game. I'm letting go of it, and I'm not playing the game. I'm just letting go of it. I just don't even pay any attention to it. Because here's the deal, the more energy we put into it, the worse it gets. The more we buy into it, the worse it gets. If we hear something, which is how it starts, we got to let it go and give it and tell the universe, I'm giving this absolutely no energy. It means here's a good example. You have to have it mean nothing. You have to say it out loud. This means nothing to me. It means nothing. And just keep going and be ourselves and do our thing. This means nothing to me. Why? Because we don't vibrate with it.
Exactly.
We don't vibrate with that hate, and we let it go the moment we find out. We don't hold on to it, and we don't tell other people, and we don't let it fester in our heads, and we don't seek revenge. We let it go immediately, and we get it out of our environment and out of our 9 bodies, our physical body and our 8 etherical bodies. We just, bye-bye. You got to let it go immediately, or it will fester. Why do you think people backstab, Richard?
Well, I think all the things that you've just said. I mean, first of all, there's jealousy. I believe that the biggest form, even more so than jealousy, at least this is the way I see it, is fear. I think that people are afraid that someone else is going to get more of a pie than they get, that someone's going to get a better job position. Excuse me. That there are people that just go through life that live in constant fear. And I'm not one of those people. I am 60. I'm going to be 62 in just a few days. And
I'm going to be 62 July 1st.
Well, I've got it. I'm beating you by a few months. And and I was at church this morning, and Doug, by the way, you're just getting here. I'm just showing everybody at Mappy with my bird, my white crow. But the thing is, I was at church this morning, and we were talking about this. It was a very small group of us this morning. They didn't even open the church. There's a parish house next door, and we had a breakfast prayer meeting, and we just talked about things that are going on in the world and everything. And I said, I am glad that I am the age that I am. I am glad that I came along at a time where people had a sense of respecting each other. At least it seemed that way. And even if you didn't respect somebody, you didn't put it out publicly the way that people put it out now. And I do know that social media has given people free rein to do that because they think that the anonymity of themselves typing something or posting something or saying it out there. I will tell you a very interesting thing that happened to me a few years ago. And I have an idea of who did this. I was going down to South Carolina to do my show, The Magic of Believing. And so I got, so I'm talking to the artistic director of the theater, and he said, "You have a hater out there." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "We received a letter at the theater, and it said that I was a fraud, that my resume was made up, that I didn't have the success in New York that everyone that I purported that I had."
What are you, Santos? No.
Well, it was very much like that, but it was a complete attack of me. And at first, I was very upset by this. And he said, "I'm not telling you this to hurt you, but just to let you know that somebody is out there." So that night, when Danny came home, I told Danny about this. Now, Russ Woolley, who's been on this show, he has been here. Russ produced my last show in New York. Russ is a very good friend of mine and Danny's. We were out together Thursday night, just the three of us, going out to see a friend sing. Russ is a very good friend of mine. Danny received a letter in his office saying, telling him that Russ and I were having an affair. And it was completely.
You know what? That's not the first time I've heard this kind of story.
It was
Within
completely made up.
that, I get you. Okay.
It was, and Danny didn't tell me originally because he didn't want to upset me. But when that letter went out to this theater in South Carolina,
Mhm.
he just, I mean, it was very similar. They sent me a copy of the letter. Both
Mhm.
letters that were sent out
Mhm.
were sent out in the same handwriting. It was a handwritten letter. Um, they both came, it said a Westchester post office box, but it could have been sent from anywhere, who knows? Um, and it was just totally fabricated. Now,
Mhm.
what if, I'm just putting this hypothetical out there,
Okay.
Danny and I had a bad relationship. We were having
Mhm.
issues at home or something.
What
And
if? Yes.
what if he was to get this letter at his office
Mhm.
and he believed it? My point is that somebody, just by putting something out there based completely on fabrication, can destroy a person's life,
For a
and
moment, for a moment. I just want to read. I want us to highlight Natasha, and I want to highlight Pam Stubbs. Natasha says, I was set up by a coworker because I got a job promotion they wanted. Almost got arrested because of it. This was in the 80s. That happened to me too. I didn't get arrested, I got fired. But because everyone I was managing in a particular cafe on Fifth Avenue, by the way,
mhm,
they were very jealous. One person was vying for the job, and there was a chef that didn't like the fact that I kept up with him. There were waiters that I had to write up for their all kinds of things, not showing up, and they fired me and they set me up. Yeah, yeah. No,
I'll
I've been
share.
there, Natasha. But Pam Stubbs, yes, you're right, Pam. Karma will come to the person. Yes, karma. Yeah, karma's a bitch. Yes, it will come back. It all. I don't really love. You know, I don't love the word always or never. Yet
Mhm.
I can tell you for sure, karmic payback always occurs. It may take a minute. It may take a week. It might take a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years. Yet it always comes back on you. That's absolutely right, Pam. Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago, I was
Mhm.
booked to perform at this is I'm putting it out there, everyone. But I was I performed at a gay nudist group as Carol Channing. I was dressed.
How
I
was
was
it? Oh,
dressed.
you were dressed, so it wasn't Carol naked. Okay,
So no. So
that would have been.
someone told Carol Channing that I was doing this. They didn't tell her because they were uh reveling in the excitement that I had a gig. They were telling her this because they thought it would hurt me. And do you know what Carol's response to this was?
God, who knows?
And she told me this. She said, "Isn't that exciting? That way he knows if they like him or not." But, but sometimes when people go out to tell something about another person, are they doing it to make themselves look superior to that other person?
Maybe that's a possibility. Also, making someone else feel like they're in the know.
Mhm.
That people do that a lot. Oh, I know this. I'm going to tell you this right now because I know it. And I'm special. So when I tell you this, you're going to think I'm special
Mhm.
because I told you this. No, you're not special. You're special ed. You're crazy for
Mhm.
thinking that. And the most successful people I know are people that don't tell the truth all the time. They don't say anything. They stay out of it. People who pick their battles and know that a circus, they're not the monkey, not my monkey, not my circus.
Right,
They're the
right.
ones that succeed. They stay out of it. They stay out. There's so many things uh, that I've been privy to that I've said nothing about. Guess what? It's not my job and it's not my business. Why put other people through the anguish? Let them decide who's going to find out. Let them take another road through another person and let them figure that out. I'm not getting involved unless someone is in danger, which they're typically not. Okay, I'm not getting involved. Oh, that's your story right now, and that's your karma to deal with. Somebody else might jump in and join in on the karma and the story, but not my circus, not my monkey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doug is asking me if they liked me. I'll tell you something funny, Doug. When I walked out on stage, the first thing I said to the audience was, I have always been told that when you are nervous, to imagine your audience. And I took a pause and I looked over the room, and it got the laugh that I was hoping that it would get. And I had the audience at that moment. So it was great. So it's great. Here's another one. Furgan might be the appropriate Hebrew word. Schadenfreude is one of the songs in Avenue Q, by the way. That's right. That's right. And
Is
again,
it
it's all
Freud or Frood?
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. Okay,
Yes.
Schadenfreude. Okay.
Schadenfreude. That's how it's pronounced.
Schadenfreude.
Isn't that right?
That's like
Schadenfreude.
young Frankenstein. Schadenfreude.
Yes.
Sorry.
Do
I'm
you
sorry, I
know?
had to say
Do
it.
you know? Frau Blucher. Do you know what Frau Blucher means?
No, I don't.
It means glue factory in another language. I mean, that's why that was the
So that's
joke.
why the horses neighed every time
That's
she
why
said it.
yes,
If somebody said her name.
it was a Mel Brooks thing. I heard the funniest thing the other day.
Shut up.
You know, Billy Crystal said that Mel Brooks called him and said, this was after Nathan Lane had left the producers. We would like you to come into the show and play Bialystok in the producers. And Billy Crystal said, Mel, I've waited my whole life for you to call me, but I do not want to be like the fifth person to replace Nathan Lane on Broadway. And Mel Brooks said, oh, you won't be the fifth, you'll be the 12th. So, it's just, this business is, I truly, what is my platform? Richard Skipper Celebrates. I celebrate the success of other people.
Oh, I do too. I'm happy for everyone, of course. I have a vision of my future. I'm not jealous of anyone. Especially people my age that I've known for years that are still performing, they're still getting out there and doing it. I'm like, yeah, yes, good for you. Keep going. People tell me all the time what they desire and require. And I always say, go for it. And if they get it, great. I'm so happy for you. I can't stand it. People who are not happy for other people, again, everybody, are unhappy people. And they want to add to their unhappiness. That's what they think their job is. And they can't leave it alone. Like, I'm unhappy, so I'm going to make them unhappy somehow. I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to share negative things about them with other people. I'm going to give them a bad review because I myself am not happy. Please know, everyone, please know that if someone's backstabbing you, it's because they are unhappy.
That's right.
That's it. It's not you. It really isn't you. And you have another person, Richard, that was like, whose name begins with an E, who just, for a while just wouldn't let it go.
Right.
She was nasty about you.
Yes.
Only because she is so extremely unhappy. And you let her go.
I did.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Thanks
it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Yeah. She was sending other people emails about you. And I'm like, well, now we're getting to maybe a legal thing.
No, she, and I did, and my last conversation was to cease and desist from that activity. But this is a behavior. I am not the only person that she has done this to. And
I believe you.
It's very, very sad. She is I have a friend who is a well-known television star, singer. She's had a very successful career. And this other person, I don't want to go too deep, claims that she's responsible for this person's success. and because she was incredibly jealous. I will say this: when Danny and I got married, we were one of the first 100 couples to legally wed in New York City. And as a result, we got a lot of coverage. We were in the Times, and but here in Rockland County, it was almost as if we were the poster kids for same-sex marriage. What was really wonderful and enduring and wonderful about all of this is when we went and we were just looking at rings, just looking. The woman behind the counter, she asked us if we were buying for each other. It had just become the law of the land here in New York. When she found out that we were indeed looking for rings, she burst into tears. She said, "Please let me be the ones to make this transaction happen, because you'll be my first." When we went to the venue that we got married in, they were open arms. Interestingly enough, the woman who was our wedding planner with this, her name was Sue Yu, which we laughed about. But the bottom line was that every inch of the way where Danny and I went, we were welcomed with open arms. Everyone was happy. I was interviewed by the local. We were interviewed by the local news, and I said in my interview that on any given night, we're sitting at home having dinner, watching a movie, watching television, and we go to bed. That's it. That's our world.
Whee! Well, that's your evening. Okay.
Yes, but the fact is, I don't think that my neighbors are busy sitting at their home wondering, I wonder what Richard and Danny are doing
I
tonight.
wonder what that gay couple next door is doing right now.
I wonder exactly.
What are the gays doing in our?
Yes, but it's never, going to church. I mean, we are
Oh gosh.
Our feet are so in the ground and so solid.
Sure.
Within our friends, within the people we know. Then I hear these stories of couples, gay and lesbian, being denied in some states a marriage license, or going to a bakery and the person saying,
they won't make them a cake. No, they won't make. No, honey, they won't make them a cake, a cupcakes. They won't make them They won't sell them a pedophore. No.
Cassandra, would you want someone to bake a cake for you that doesn't want to bake a cake for you?
I don't need a cake, sister, but I'm not spending money on another cake. I've been married. I'm spending the money on the going to the Bahamas or Hawaii, or we're not getting a cake, baby. You don't get any cake. You don't get any cake because I'm not spending the money on it. I'm spending the money in Hawaii.
My point is that I don't understand from a business.
People who turn down business. People who lose business over their beliefs.
Right.
By the way, on that subject, there's an actor who has been on General Hospital for years that was pretty much written out of the show because he would not get a COVID shot. Some actors have been out sick with it anyway. They pick it up from the crew or some, but General Hospital really wanted their people to get vaccinated before they kissed each other and spit all over each other. And this particular actor said, "No, it's against my religious beliefs." And he doesn't have a job anymore.
Well,
I don't know if he'll ever get written on again. Yet, it to me, it's the same thing as not making a cake for a gay couple. Right. It's like we're allowing our beliefs to get in the way of our commerce and making money. We're turning down income because of religious beliefs.
Right. There's a well-known Broadway actress. I'm not going
to. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Tell the story.
So she, well-loved, well-respected in the business. She was supposed to do a production out in the Hamptons. And somehow she, I don't know all the facts, but she was all of a sudden ostracized because she had not gotten vaccinated before the rehearsals had started.
Mhm.
And so many people uh, went after her, and she
Mhm.
was raked through the coals before she was even given. Nobody even asked her, well, what's your side of the story?
Mhm.
What have you done? And and that's happened, to more people than I'd like to even acknowledge,
Mhm.
where people have said something about another person, and again, lives and careers are destroyed. We live in this cancel culture right now. Many, 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 many years ago, before any of this was going on, Whoopi Goldberg was doing a private event, and she made a joke. And at this private event that she was hired to do, and someone videotaped it, took the joke out of context,
Mm.
put it on social media,
Mhm.
and Whoopi Goldberg, who at the time was a spokesperson for Slim Fast,
Mhm.
lost her endorsement deal before she even made it home that night. And she was not able to get work for several
Mm.
years. It was Barbara Walters who called her up and said, "I'd like you to do The View." Because nobody would touch her
Mhm.
because she had been blackballed in the industry. And look at the McCarthy era and all these
And
people
and
whose lives.
she's still chastised for her uh her opinions.
Yes.
She got in trouble recently. She can get fired. But yeah, we should be allowed to have our opinions. Yet it's kind of nice to see people standing up for their beliefs as well. We're in a culture now that's really cool where everybody gets to say, "Oh, I don't agree with you." In the old days, we didn't disagree with anybody. People did whatever they wanted and said whatever they wanted. But also on television, you didn't tell people what you really thought. You remember these days?
Oh, I remember.
Now, people on TV, journalists, whatever, they tell us what they think. And if we don't like it, we speak up. And that's how, and it's kind of exciting. I mean, it's, you know, we need to listen to each other. We need, whether we agree with it or not, we've got to listen to each other. There may be a new idea out there somewhere that you never thought of. You know, not long ago, Whoopi said that the whole Nazi Holocaust was not. Uh, it was not a what'd she say? It was not a prejudistic war.
It was not about race or
It wasn't
prejudice
about race. It was
or
about, what was
prejudice.
it about?
It was
What?
about religious prosecution. I think that's what it
Okay.
was. I mean, I
Now,
could be wrong. I mean, somebody will correct us here. I
yeah,
don't want to get in trouble myself. I don't
of course,
exactly
of
remember
course.
what she said. Don't we're just the
Yet,
messenger tonight.
that was her opinion. That was her opinion. Some people were okay about it, and a lot of people disagreed with it. Yet she spoke her truth. It didn't kill anybody. you know, she spoke her truth, and people, commented, and there you have it, and there it goes. You know, but yet
What
she
is
wasn't.
wrong? What is
Yes.
wrong with someone making a comment and then saying, I misspoke. I, yeah, but is it genuine when they do, or is it because they're about to get the axe? I mean,
Probably they're about to get the X.
yes,
Today, in today's world,
in today's world.
you're still, that's like the old days, you're still gonna get axed if you don't make up for it. Yeah. Some people didn't like what you said, so bye. Well, I'll apologize and get through it. Yeah, there's a lot of apologies happening these days as well. Yet
You know,
I believe a lot of them they're expected. They're expected. There's a lot of hate out there, people, and I'm so sorry to say it. I'm sorry.
but
But
we are
there
so
is.
quick to knock people off. We put them on these pedestals, and then
Uh-huh.
we're so quick to knock them down.
Yeah.
Um, if somebody's doing something that's heinous, or that's a horrible crime or something, they need to pay the price for it. Um, but Sharon Osbourne, Doug McAllister says, how about Sharon Osbourne?
Well, go ahead.
Do you want to talk on that?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I don't know all the details.
Oh, she is pro royal family, and anything outside of royal family is just not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug, is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about?
She made a comment a few years ago on the talk that got her
Yes.
completely. Send Doug.
I'm thinking it might be her comments about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. She's very pro royal family, which we're not, because we're not British.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pro Meghan Markle and Harry. And in fact, I was going to say that while we're talking about this, it pertains to the chapter in my book about slanderous language. Hang on. Slanderous language in descriptions and titles. I talk about it in my book. It's on page 174 of my book. And I quote Meghan Markle, which is really cuckoo. But Meghan Markle says, "Caddy is not cool. I can't think of anything less becoming than a man who talks about people behind their backs." And this is when she was the Duchess of Sussex, just so you know.
I'm going to post.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I can't, now I'm like, oh, I can't believe I put that in here. But it wasn't about, it was something about, I think, well, I don't know. What was the Osbourne thing about?
Sharon Osbourne says, firing from the talk amid racism claims destroyed my credibility in America. The topic, as well as other ups and downs she's endured during her time in the spotlight as a TV host, reality star, and manager, is there's going to be a new documentary about this. And she was canceled after 11 years. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this is what it is. I'm gonna bring this up right now.
Okay.
And you are correct, Casera, by the way.
Okay.
So I will bring this up here.
Okay.
Okay. She defended her friend Paris Morgan, and here's
the
story.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, he spoke out, and then she backed him up.
Right.
About Harry and Meghan.
She defended him by saying that he was not racist, and by her defending him, she got the backlash, and it destroyed her career. Hopefully, this documentary will rectify everything. But then there's the flip side of this. When Roseanne Barr was let go, she had been posting a lot of hateful rhetoric. So, in the case of Roseanne Barr, please understand that The Conners, which had just the sequel to Roseanne, is under the guise or under the umbrella of the Disney company, and the Disney company wanted to remove themselves as far from this as possible. But her comments were truly hateful, and I do believe that there are certain people. I was talking about this again in church this morning. We live in a bullying culture.
Yes.
Every reality-based show is all about someone being made to feel less than.
Yes.
Every comedy, and if you can call them that, on television is based on put-down humor. If you watch the opening monologues of all of our favorite talk show hosts, their opening monologues are essentially making fun of, and I know they're comedians, but they're making fun of other people. When someone is going through a horrendous time in their lives,
Mhm.
it's not always stuff for fodder to be made fun of. Let's look at the George Santos situation, for example.
I knew you were gonna bring that up.
Well,
I
my
was
feeling
just
about
thinking of
him
it. Mhm.
is and this again is this is my opinion, folks. I believe that he has a mental illness.
I
That
do too.
um,
I
it,
agree with you. I agree
he,
with you.
no one, um, you know,
He's
it,
a he's a perpetual liar.
but
He can't stop. He can't stop lying.
but
It's
he's not
just
called on it.
yeah, I know. It's just what comes out of his mouth. I think, adults that are perpetual liars learned how to lie to their parents when they were kids to stay out of trouble. Because I've known some. I know some. They are so good at the lies. People have lied in front of me on their phones when they're talking to other people. And I agree with you. He's a perpetual liar, and it's a sickness. And I really think it's something he learned as a child to stay out of trouble.
Well, I
I
think that
mean, and
think
it's
it's
not just
something that
him. It's anyone who lies about their past, their education, their experience. I mean, I don't care that he's gay. Who cares? But to not tell the people that you used to be a drag queen, I mean, you hide that and
well, that was
everything
because he
else he's
wasn't good
lied
at it.
about. I'm sorry.
I said that was because he wasn't good at it.
I don't know about that. I don't have the answer to
I'm
that.
joking. I'm joking.
I know it's a joke. Okay. Yeah, I know. But I was just thinking about that. There's a lot of shysters out there, unfortunately. Yeah, yes, Alan. Yes, Santos he's a pathological liar.
Now,
I mean,
years
let's just
ago,
put it out there. Let's just put it out there. Doesn't have anything to do with Democrats or Republicans. Let's just put it out there.
I
Yeah.
was booked in Fort Lauderdale when I was performing as Carol as part of a big fundraiser.
Hmm.
So I was interviewed by the Fort Lauderdale Times. At the time that this was going on, there was a big controversy going on in Florida. Some of you may remember this, where they were trying to put a ban, and it may still be in effect, I don't know. But there was a ban um, on gay couples adopting children.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there was a particular man in Florida. He was running for office. His name was McManus. And so I was coming down to do this benefit. I was interviewed by the Fort Lauderdale Times, and the interview ended. It was a great interview. And about half an hour later, she called me up and she said, I have one more question, if you don't mind my asking this. Um, how much are you being paid to do this? And I said, well, I've never been asked that by an interviewer before. I said, first
Hmm.
of all, I'm not going to discuss how much I get paid
No.
because I'm going to overprice or underprice myself in other markets.
Hmm.
She said, but this is a benefit. Are you offering your talents for free? I said, to be honest with you, all of my expenses are being covered, my airfare, my accommodations, everything else. But I've waived my personal fee in order to do this benefit because these are friends of mine. So she said, that's all I need to know. The next day, I arrive in Fort Lauderdale, and the headline of the paper was Fundraiser Chooses Drag Queen for Show. And I called the paper and I said, what is your purpose in putting this on the front page of the news? Is this
Hmm.
really that big a deal?
Hmm.
I said, does the theater company advertise with your paper? And she said, I think so. I said, well, why would you want to hurt them? I said, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do my performance, and I'm going to leave. These people are trying to raise money for their theater. Do you want to hurt them on this? Because that was a hateful thing for them to do.
Hmm.
And it turned out that it worked in my favor
Okay.
because everybody was curious at this point. But you've got to think about why you're putting certain things. First of all, I would never. I will tell you something, and I own this.
Hmm.
Years ago, I was I had done a performance with a specific theater company that was a
Hmm.
big hit. The following year, someone followed up with a like-minded show. That's all I'm going to say. And I, for 6 weeks, this was when I was writing a blog, encouraged people to buy tickets for this show. I encouraged people, I encouraged people, I encouraged people. I went to see the show. I was not happy about seeing the show. I'm not going to say anything about its performance. I did not have a great experience. And I wrote about it in my blog the next day. And this hurt this person. A lot of his friends called me up. They were angry with me that I would post this. That's when everything shifted for me. I said, I will never, ever do something so horrible again. And I own it. And I apologize to him, whether he chooses to forgive me or not. He's polite when he sees me. He's not going to go out of his way for me. And with good reason. I hurt him. It was not my, but I had my reasons, which my reasons were not to hurt him, but just because I had been begging people to buy tickets for this event. Again, if he happens to see this, I put it out there again. I own
That's
it.
nice.
And I apologize for it.
Well, that's nice. Before we end, would you like to tell everybody about what you're doing and what I'm doing and what's going on?
Well, why don't you?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I am going to, as a lot of you know, I am writing a new show. It's called Plate Spinners, Jugglers, and Richard Skipper, Tales of a Lifetime in Show Business. I am booked to do the show in Washington, D.C. on March 18th. If any of you can come, please do. But on March 12th, on the Sunday before that, I'm going to be performing the show here in Rockland County. We are going to do our show next week with Erin Grillor, who we love, love, love. If you happen to be watching this, Erin.
One of my oldest best friends on the planet.
And we are going to
it's
continue.
It's the full moon show. Yeah.
It's the full moon show. We're going to be celebrating the snow moon. We are going to continue doing the full moon show once a month. But we're going to be
and
yes, go ahead.
Not but
and
yet or and
yes, we are letting go of the Let That Go show.
Together.
Because that's where I was going with this.
Okay.
Sarah will be taking up the mantle, and she will continue to do the Let That Go show on her own. I may pop in from once in a while if she'll have me, but I am there to celebrate her launching this series on her own.
And some other shows too. I'm going to be doing some numberology shows, and I'm going to be interviewing lots of artists that I've known for many, 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 many years that are absolutely amazing, especially from Dallas, who've gone to New York, and there's a lot of people. I know so many people. So I'm just going to spread my wings and support Richard in taking off on a different direction.
And I'm going to be pulling back on the number of shows that I'm doing on my own platform as well. Yeah. And it's very interesting because, and I want to talk about with Erin next week about this, because this is a 7-year in numerology, and everything that I've been reading about my personal numbers and everything and numerology is about putting a spotlight on myself again. I have spent perhaps the past 25 plus years celebrating other artists.
Sure.
I have been, with Carol Channing, Judy Garland, the live shows that I did, everything that I did. This is not an ending, everyone.
No.
This is a new.
It's just spreading. It's just spreading our wings. It's just.
And again, Kasira and I and Erin, God willing, at least once a month will be.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Do the full moon show. So that's our big news that we're celebrating. Everyone, we're going to be together next week, 7 o'clock. please, as we celebrate the snow
Full moon
moon,
show.
please join us.
Yes, please,
And
and
those
invite
are
some
my-
friends. Invite people, you guys. Invite some friends to watch, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to say before we
Nope.
say au revoir?
No, I just want to say that I love you, Richard, and thank you so much for, spearheading the Let That Go show. You've been so supportive and just amazing. And I'm looking forward to learning some technical things from you.
I'm going to be right there with you.
Because I have said up until now, I'm not a technological person, but apparently I'm being called to be a little more technological. So I'm going to pick that. I'm going to take the baton. Oh God, we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll do the Let That Go show, and I'm going to do some other shows too. That'll be really fun. I'm going to do some other shows too, and to, have fun with some actors and singers and dancers, and we'll have a good time. We'll have, me, I speak my mind, and it'll be juicy. I'll tell you that. It'll be juicy.
And I will see you tomorrow, Kasira.
All right, darling.
At 1:00 tomorrow. And
I love you, darling.
Positive thoughts this week because I'm having a medical procedure done on Tuesday on Carol Channing's birthday. But I will put it out there. It's nothing serious. I'll tell you all what I'm going to be doing to celebrate Carol's birthday this year. I am having a colonoscopy.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes.
I knew you were going to say that. That's so funny. I've had one.
Because I've done it before. It's been 10 years since my last one. And I just got a notification a couple of months ago, and they said, it's time to do this again. So
stay home and stay close to the bathroom, darling.
I will. So tomorrow, my day, I'm doing a show tomorrow afternoon at 3:00, and then the rest of the day is in prep mode, if you know what I'm saying, everyone.
That's what I said. Stay home and stay close to the bathroom.
Yes.
Okay, so any of you, thank you, Natasha. Yes, absolutely be a guest on my show once I learn how to get you on.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah,
yes,
of course. Yeah, I love you more.
Good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.
It's gonna be a brighter day. Don't worry. It's gonna be a brighter day. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry. It's gonna be a brighter day. Don't worry. It's gonna be a brighter day. Don't worry. So don't let nothing get you down. There's goodness all around. Keep the love in your heart and hold your head high. Give all the love and kindness you can to every child, woman, and man. Just know that a change is happening now.